Ooh, you're live on camera. So the theme was supposed to be skids. We haven't talked about them yet. I don't know, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, which model are we talking about?
We have lots of skids, right?
I could list off probably 15 to 20 of them.
So what is so special about TNT skids? What's different? If you bought TNT Custom skids, why would you want to buy those? Did I put you on the spot?
No. Just thinking of a correct way to phrase that question. Answer that question. It's a good question. Really. You know, all the skids on the industry, they're all basically the same. Meaning what they're made from. You know, most companies now are using aluminum for skids like we do. And some you can get steel depending on what you're planning on doing with the Jeep. Could potentially be a better option. You know, if you're wheeling it in places that a body vehicle shouldn't, I would probably go to steel skids because they're gonna take a beating, especially if we're talking four-door. The hang in the weeds, as everybody knows, it's the first thing you're gonna come in contact with.
And do we make both steel and aluminum?
No, we only do well. There again, depending on what model we're talking. We're talking TJ generation and older. Those are all steel. Mainly because that's the Jeep you're probably going to beat on a lot harder. And it's all part of the way we do our long arm kit. But JK to current, those are all aluminum. A's also try and shed some weight out of it. And like my JL on 37s, yeah, it's not on tons or anything else, so you can add even more weight for one that's built 40s tons. You know, you do everything to it, you're looking at a 7,000, almost 8,000 pound rig when it's all said and done.
Yikes.
It's a lot of weight to beat across rocks. So, going that big, you pick a poison. You know, shed a little bit of weight and deal with, you know, the skids not maintaining 100% their shape is what they came in, because they're going to move. We've proven it over and over and over again. Steel skids will take more of a beating, but you're probably still going to move them at the same time under a rig that's got that kind of weight on top of it.
Oh, so they're going to move around under your rig?
Mm-hmm. My engine skid's not straight because I've used it, but I've used it and the Jeep's still drivable. I didn't take the training pan out or the oil pan out, but it's not flat. South Dakota did not help that at all, but you know, it's protecting the things that are vulnerable is the importance of skid plates. They all do about the same. They all work about the same. Ours are all made here, U.S., made in this building. It's kind of pick your poison. Granted, ours are designed to work around some of the other stuff we've been working on. Meaning the way we traditionally do our long arm kit. Still working it out in my head, but I'm pretty sure I can adapt it to the JL and Gladiator.
So if my Jeep's pretty simple. If I were to get your skids,
everything will bolt in.
It's just bolt in. You can do it yourself.
You can do it laying on the garage in your floor, or the floor in your garage or driveway or wherever you got. You can do it with the Jeep sitting on it. There's no special modifications you gotta do. The gas tank will stay hung inside the frame when you take certain bolts out to put brackets in.
So you can just be a regular,
Yep.
simple Joe.
Basic hand tools, and you can put all the skid plates on.
And what different, not for the different Jeeps, but what different parts do the skids cover for TNT skids?
Engine tranny, transfer case, and gas tank. For the JL, I'm still working on the extension for the battery tray. For the e-torque or the 4-liter turbo, they both have that external battery underneath the frame. So I'm still working on that skid, but we make engine skid, T-case, gas tank for the JL, JT, and JL.
Now, isn't there something for the diesel, some other skid that protects, or that's all flows together?
Well, that all flows together on the diesel fuel tank skid.
Yeah,
It is also the transfer case skid all at the same time. But we put a hat in so you can take that out and still access the fuel filter that is right there in front of the gas tank. That's what that little hat is for on the diesel.
and you can find all these skids on our website.
Yep. Maybe not the JLU. I don't know if those are on there yet. But I do make them technically.
And just call us if you have a question.
Yep.
So are you working on your dad's?
Yeah, I've been
Does
over
he
at
know
the
you're
other
working
shop.
on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That maybe you were surprising him or something.
No. Because I gotta get that kit done for Vince, so I got his rear end back in and everything's lining up like it should. I make one tweak, but that's easy enough to make happen. And then all of that will be ready for Vince, which is his pallet there that we start gathering pieces, and fenders and corners and whatnot are coming up in production to do for his order. So I'm trying to get it all planned at the same time. When Jake's done with all of that, I'll have the back half kit done, palletize it, and Vince gets a really spoiled Christmas to himself.
Oh, there you go. Vince is so lucky.
Basically, if you guys have seen the gray TJ in the back at the other shop, which is Bob's personal rig that we've been tinkering on for years, but that's essentially what Vince is going to build, is that the Jeep sitting in the back of the shop.
Cool beans. Anything else?
No, not that I can think of. I mean, those were kind of what I'm working on. Still plugging away on the LJ over there with them being out of town. Kind of helping Nick along when he's got questions and whatnot to keep moving on that LJ. Because we also get to move that LJ out of that bay because we're getting concrete fixed at the shop. So we got to hurry up, get that one mobile, at least as a roller, so we can roll it into a different bay. So when they rip the concrete up and pour it down, we can work on it in another bay. The auto shop can move essentially into the Jeep shop and keep cars moving in and out, and that one can just be trapped with wet concrete behind it. So we've been kind of a rush to try to get that one on wheels so we can get it moved out of the way.
Because we're getting a facelift over there.
Yes, getting a pretty major facelift that's going to happen over there. But gotta get some things rearranged over there before they can do that. Some of that. That LJ should be a roller potentially by the end of the day is what me and Nick are hoping for. So we can get it moved into a different bay. So next week there should be some pretty big steps forward on that LJ that we've been putting together for Ryan. Can't think of his last name now. Schubert, something like that. So stay tuned for next week. Should have most of the suspension figured out on that one for that at that point. Hopefully by the end of the day, but we'll see if I get that lucky.
And next week, everyone will be here.
Yes.
Bob and Mary and Tanner, they'll be back from their adventures. And
yep, everybody will be here again. And we'll be back up to normal
speed.
Yep, and then they'll be able to give you an update on their trip and whatnot. And
Tanner's trip with the XJ guys.
Yep. Tanner's trip to Trail Hero.
Yep.
How that all actually whatnot went down. Then his update on his next year event that he's at currently. And Bob and Mary will be able to give you their update on their trip to the Grand Canyon.
Cool beans.
Bye.